Well, good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Ellithorpe with Tustin Longevity Ask the Doctor Anything. We are a group of 8 healthcare providers, medical doctors, naturopathic physicians, physician assistants, and we are trying to do a weekly Ask the Doctor Anything to get a generalized response from a functional doctor, integrative doctor, and trying to answer as many of your questions so that you can uh, make some decisions about improving your own health, taking responsibility for your own health preventatively, and or restoring your health and trying to maybe reduce medication dependence and regain more functionality to your life. This is not meant to be personal medical advice. This is for educational purposes only. If you're a patient here, you are to please call your doctor and leave a phone message with your specific question or need or follow-up. In the meantime, what we'll do is we have a YouTube chat here where if you're on YouTube, you can type in your question and I will defer to the live questions first. And then we have the email questions here that come in. If you're on our web email list, you can get on to tlcdoctors.com. That's our website, tlcdoctors.com. And there you can subscribe to our channel or email. And when you're doing that, then you'll get a notification of our weekly videos, Ask the Doctor questions. And there's a link on that notification, and you can hit that link. And then if you have a question, you can type it in. We do try and look at the videos and look at the comments afterwards. Please leave a comment, leave suggestions, or leave more questions. And if this is valuable to you, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And tonight we will begin. This is December 5th, 2023. We are a little bit harried here because we started a new electronic medical record program today, and it makes it quite challenging to try and practice medicine and think about the needs of the patient at the same time you're struggling on a time basis, which is the same, to introduce a new methodology on the computer. So please be patient with us if you are a patient here, and understand that your doctor is trying to straddle two things until we get this under our belt and we learn it better. But we're literally starting this week, so it's going to be a stressful week for all of us. So if I look a little tattered, it's because I have brain strain, a little bit of a headache already from doing it today, but I did it. So old dogs can learn new tricks. All right, so let's start with our live chat here first. Today we have Amila, and she says, "Hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. What do you recommend to control histamine intolerance? Which foods are high in histamine? Is there a test for it?" There are foods that trigger a histaminic response, which is your immune system's defense system. It's not abnormal. It's already built into you. But you can get in a pattern of eating or a dietary pattern, environmental, that is repetitiously triggering the histaminic response. And that would be like with alcohol, beer, and wine in particular is a big trigger to the immune system. A lot of people will get a headache after a glass of wine. They say it's the sulfates, but actually it's probably the histaminic reaction to the substance of the wine or the beer and other alcohols, spirits. The other thing is there are some aged foods, fermented foods, and if you habitually get addicted to consuming them, you'll trigger this. So if you go on the internet, you'll see commonly listed aged cheeses, figs, some dried fruits, alcohol beverages, old nuts, aged nuts, things like this. So very often in the holiday seasons, these packaged dried foods and the alcohol consumed really becomes a trigger for histaminic reactions. And that's, you can get hives, you can get itchy red eyes, itchy skin, you can get headaches, you can get flushed, you can get bloated, even arthralgias, myalgias. So the allergic response. And so you have to look at that yourself, Amela, and look up on the internet those foods and try and do what we teach here is to try and eat simplistically, to rotate your diet, and try and get repetitious food patterns out of your diet. If you eat multiple times with a great variety during the time, you're just increasing your average exposure to varieties of food lectins, food signatures. So if you eat a more simplistic diet, we teach a one menu day, such that you've heard me say you would have a beef and broccoli day and you'd make enough of it at dinner. So that would become your lunch the following day. Then the next dinner you would prepare, let's say, chicken and green beans, and you'd make enough of it so it's left over for your lunch. So it's limited in the variety and it's rotating day to day. So a meat themed vegetable day, 24 hours, and then a chicken themed vegetable day for 24 hours, then a fish themed day for 24 hours, then a pork themed day, vegetable for 24 hours, then maybe an omelet vegetable day for 24 hours. And notice we want you to eat in a 6-hour window or eat in a smaller window of time so that the rest of your gut has more time to heal. So that's what I would suggest for that. Is there a test for it? There are food allergy tests for reactivity to general foods. That's the immunofood. But specifically for histamine, we can look for this in the blood. It's very specialized. I'm sure it's not covered, or it's likely to be not covered. And I would have to call the lab to find out what the name for it would be. So I really never order it. I just find that if people get out of packaged foods and all the additives, eat more simplistically, these things go away. There's an item, what is it called? HistDAO. And that is the name you can look up, put out by Zymogen. And it is diamine oxidase. It is the enzyme that helps to digest and break down histamine in your body. And you can actually take this and maybe use it, especially in the holiday seasons when you eat your foods, if you're getting into some of these types of aged foods. So it's called Hist, D as in dog, A as in apple, O as in Oscar. So you can try that out. We have it here as well, so you could call the vitamin department and they know what HistDAO is. I would use that in addition to your digestive enzyme. So you could take one digestive enzyme and one DAO. Okay. Next question on here is from Jennifer. Hi, Dr. E. A friend's 10-year-old daughter has occasional sudden stabbing head pain on the side of her head. It lasts 10 to 30 seconds. Mainstream medical tests are being done. Does TLC treat children? Yes, we see children. And so I think a wonderful person to start with would be Dr. Kaur. And that would be a good starter point. I'm really full, so I'm not taking new patients. But we discuss challenging cases at our monthly rounds, and if that's a question, she can bring it up. So thank you for that. It's probably dietary. It's probably a vasospasm of the like the temporal artery, and because the brain itself doesn't have any feeling. So that's probably where it's coming from, is in the food that she's consuming. Jennifer Zell says, "Hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. What do you suggest for high blood pressure? You told me years ago, be keto, low carb, lots of water, use OptiMag Neuro. That's a magnesium powder drink. Anything else? I'm 44, female, and 3 days into those suggestions." And then she goes on to say, "I've brought my blood pressure down from 155 over 105 to 145 over 85. Well, that's wonderful. You're almost getting into the normal range. So, Elizabeth, you need to have your labs done. We need to look at inflammation markers. We need to see how much water you may be drinking, more water, but really we need to know your weight divided in half in pounds, and that's how many ounces every single day you have to do. Exercise, doing a walk briskly for 30 minutes every day. And we like to do little spurts, so that if you're walking at a pace for 2 minutes, then for 30 seconds, pick up the pace just short of breaking into a run for 20 seconds, 30 seconds to spike it up a bit, spurts we call it, and then resume back for another 2 minutes at your regular, just brisk pace, purposeful pace. And then at the 2 minute mark again, sprint for, 20 seconds, and do that, throughout the course of your walk. So exercise, water, the magnesium, make sure that you're having good sleep. You might be needing hormones if you're 44 now. Was you? Yeah, 44. You might be getting into perimenopause. Calming can come from estradiol, progesterone, getting a good night's sleep, checking your insulin level. Insulin makes the thickness of the blood vessels thicker and stiffer, and so you want to check your fasting blood sugar, insulin level, hemoglobin A1C, those kind of things. So please see your doctor, or please come back and be seen here. The next one is Tara. Tara says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. What hormones should a 32-year-old A positive blood type woman get checked if they are feeling not as good and losing hair? Thank you." What hormones? Well, I would try around day 20 of your menstrual cycle. So day 1 would be the first day of your menstrual cycle, and 20 days later, you could do 19, 20, 21, and get your blood drawn to see if you're ovulating, your progesterone level, get your estradiol level, get the testosterone, get your DHEA, get the cortisol, get your free T3 and free T4, get your TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, get your thyroid peroxidase antibodies, and your thyroglobulin antibodies. There's 2 kinds of antibodies to the thyroid for thinning hair. And then I would get a general chemistry to look at your protein and content, your blood urea nitrogen, your fasting blood sugar, an insulin hormone level, fasting. And I would do the hemoglobin A1C, and I would get a lipid profile to look at your triglycerides as well. And I would put all that together and get your vitamin D level. I would get a B12 because A's notoriously don't make enough acid in their stomach to digest their food, so they don't make enough intrinsic factor, and they don't make enough of their B vitamins, B12. and therefore they start getting tired, worn out, and so forth, not feeling good. So that's where I would start, Tara. Let's see, Robert Pinsky. My last blood test, my estradiol jumped from 15 up to 49, and my SHBG was 107. I haven't changed my diet. Do you know why these numbers suddenly jumped? How would you get them back down? Estradiol in a man has purpose. So men do make some estradiol, and women make some testosterone. In men, the estradiol is involved in fertility and sperm motility. And so a man needs to make some of it. But as we drink alcohol, the liver alcohol dehydrogenase, alcohol dehydrogenase is an enzyme God gave us to help break down alcohol, because as we eat any carbohydrates, starches, bread, grains, it sits in our warm stomach and our gut for hours and hours and hours through our intestine, and it ferments. And so God made enough alcohol dehydrogenase to help get processed out of our body the alcohol. But if you actually drink alcohol, then you're overwhelming the design of God, and you'll wind up having using up all your alcohol dehydrogenase on all the exogenous alcoholic drinks you're consuming. And that can drive up the estradiol, because estradiol is a part of the alcohol family and is broken down by alcohol dehydrogenase. So that's one way. You could have eaten more carbs, more starch, more rice, more beans, more fruit. So increased carbohydrates, lack of exercise, more alcohol, all these things make a man's estradiol go up. And it can do that in a period of weeks to months between two lab tests. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't worry about it, but I would just use it as a reminder to work on getting your carbs always under control. Okay. God bless you, Robert. And Christina. Hi, Dr. Rita. Recently, I developed itchy skin followed by small bumps, rashes. A doctor told me could be histamine issue and wants me to take antihistamines. She also said looks like scabies. Ideas? Well, rashes really need to be seen. If you're young, these typically are from something you're eating, or the clothes you're wearing, or lotions you're applying, or you're showering too much. I would not shower more than at the worst once a week. I would use sponge bathing, hit the pits under your arms, your groin, and feet, and that's how I would handle it, and let your skin grow up with its natural oils to bring in a healthy, fresh layer. It takes 4 months for a new skin layer to rise up to the top. So you have to be disciplined for 4 months to take care of your skin that way. You have to drink enough water. You have to eat healthy fats and protein. The Parent Essential Oil Clinician's Preference here is what we recommend. And that's how I would begin to approach it. The older you get, then your skin dries out even worse, and showering excessively is even worse. And so all these things come to play. But you would have to be seen. We'd have to talk about your history, your work situation or not, your family or home situation, pets, whatever, and then take a look at it that way. But I suspect most American women over shower and bathe, over apply bathing products, and these go through the skin and create irritants. And then you scratch at them, and it could have the appearance of scabies, and usually it is not scabies. All right, Cheryl says, I have a histamine intolerance, a use intolerance. and use a app for the diet. So I'm not familiar with the app for the diet. If you go on the computer and you see all the foods listed that are histamine-rich promoters, mostly the fermented and aged foods, then you'll see, and alcoholic beverages are a part of it, just by eliminating those, and that will be a help. Taking the HistDAO and using enzymes like the vascuzyme with bromelain is usually helpful, or Vitalzyme. These systemic enzymes help it. Drinking enough water, exercise helps it. And then taking quercetin specifically in the form of, we have D-Hist by Orthomolecular Hair, and we have seasonal allergies, which is the quercetin, same thing. I think Orthomolecular is out of some critical products, so we are out right at this moment of D-Hist or seasonal allergies for quercetin. I use it every day, so I've put myself on a diet of at least one left, so hopefully I can get through December, and maybe they'll have it by January. But if you go over the counter, look for quercetin. To have an antihistamine effect, you probably need no less than 600 milligrams a day. So that's what I would say there. All right, let's go to my questions here. Magdalena says, let's see, this was from December 2nd. She typed this in. She had a lab result where her T4 was 1.2, TSH 1.9, T3, I don't know if that's free T3 or total T3, but she just said T3 2.8. These are all in the normal ranges, maybe a little on the low side. Thyroglobulin antibody was elevated at 36. So she has some autoantibody issues with her thyroid. She's trying to conceive, and her doctor is suggesting a low dose of thyroid replacement. I would do that, yeah, and low dose naltrexone. I haven't used low dose naltrexone for thyroid autoimmune phenomena, so I'm in favor of the thyroid. I don't know about low dose naltrexone to help with the antibody counts. Do you think that's necessary? Yes, for the thyroid. I would also get on iodine, iodoral, 12.5 milligrams a day. You'll have a more intelligent baby with a better IQ. You also need vitamin D to have a better IQ and immune system. You also need to eat a rich diet in healthy proteins and healthy fats. So that's what I would suggest. So that's what I would say. All right, Magdalena, congratulations, and I hope that you conceive soon. And I suggest the thyroid will be a very important part of it. Elizabeth says, Dr. Rita, I had my annual eye exam, and my optometrist advised me that I had some cataracts that were very little, but not unusual for my age. I will be 72 in February, so right around my age. On bioidentical hormones, you take your supplements, you drink your water, you exercise 5 days a week with weights, good girl, and you're a Dr. Mitchell patient, okay? You're O negative blood. What can I do to help reverse this? I would use the number one, intravenous vitamin C and chelation, and we've put it together as a single enhanced chelation IV. That's the first direction I would go. And that would be the most powerful thing to stop the oxidation, the burning, so to say, oxidizing of the lens in your eye. And it's not reversible really per se. I've never really seen reversal, because once you burn a protein in your cornea and get cataracts, rather in your lens, it's scarred. It's like scar tissue, and you can't really heal a scar tissue, but you can stop more from forming. So you could see your doctor. They could do an antioxidant assay. We use SpectraCell for this here. we use the microcirculation and better oxygenation, nutrient and waste removal that's provided by EDTA chelation IVs. We use a low carb diet. We use systemic enzymes on an empty stomach. We use digestive enzymes when you're over 65 with every meal. We certainly drink our weight in ounces as half our weight in pounds as ounces every day. Exercise, try and get a good night's sleep, natural hormone replacement, and then using a good antioxidant supplement would be the Juice Plus series. This probably has the most research on its antioxidant DNA damage protecting properties. It's got 42 at least publications, peer-reviewed, journaled in the noteworthy colleges, universities. So that is the number one nutrient, and that's why I use it. And I'm so thankful now at 70, I don't have any cataracts. I just had my eye exam, and it does not look like I'm developing any. And you got to do those things. So that's the direction I would go. Primarily Juice Plus every day and the IVs with those good lifestyles. And it looks, Elizabeth, like you're doing most of them. Constance says, what are the best food sources for calcium citrate and potassium citrate? Well, calcium citrate will be rich in grapefruit and lemons and orange and pineapple, the raw form. I wouldn't buy store-bought juices. That's a hyper sugar concentrate, but just eating grapefruit and stuff. The potassium citrate is in nuts and seeds, and it's very rich in meat and fish and shellfish and sardines and things like that. So to get calcium citrate, potassium citrate, those are the sources I would go to. I'm sure you could Google it and find references for it, but there seems to be a bias in Google on meat because meat is a powerful universal. It even has vitamin C. Liver has vitamin C. And so all the screening on what foods are best, it's like the last thing they bring up is beef. And this is conscious. I can't imagine that this is an accident because I've been doing this 42 years, and it always came up as the number one source and the most nutrient dense for human health and repair. So meat wins my answer every day. Okay. Cynthia says, I am a PX female. That means postmenopausal? I don't know. 63, been taking levothyroxine for many years. Currently 150 micrograms. That was increased from 100 about a year ago. Labeling states one is not to take supplements until 4 hours after taking the meds. Does this also apply to the Vitalzyme I currently take? Also, since I lost 20 pounds, do I need to have my thyroid indicators measured? Well, Cynthia, yeah, you should see your doctor because you're on a prescription medication, levothyroxine, 150 micrograms. That's not a big high dose, but we would want you to have your TSH, your free T3, your thyroid antibodies checked, and look at you and find out, is this 20 pounds you wanted to lose? Was it excess weight, or was it weight you did not want to lose? That would need to be looked at by your doctor. As far as taking things, everyone has an opinion and everyone's an expert, and everyone's saying that on the internet. So it must be horrific for all of you to try and look at anything on the internet and look it up and see all these so-called, professionals on it saying two different things about the same thing. So we're in a challenging world. All I can offer you is my 42 years of experience. And the only thing I would say about when to take your thyroid medicine on an empty stomach in the morning, I take all my vitamins all together, all at one time in the morning. I get it done because if I don't, I will forget. And so it's better and maybe a little less optimal if I were to eat it with food, certain ones, or without food, other ones. But at least I get them all in every day, first thing in the morning, the whole pile of it. Now, I don't take my thyroid until at least an hour or two later. And that's the only discipline I hold on myself is to take my thyroid about an hour or so after I take my vitamins because I don't want the calcium that's in my TLC multimineral to, be absorbed by my thyroid and have it be less effective. Nevertheless, even if I took my thyroid with it and it was a little less effective, but I was consistent, then you and your doctor, when you do your labs, if you do everything consistently, then you can make predictions out of it. So there isn't a holy grail here. There is what should be a pattern, and with the pattern that serves your life, then we can work with it as clinicians. Yeah, to be a nitpicker, hyper religious, strict over it, yeah, you shouldn't take it with food. You shouldn't take your thyroid with food. I take my orthodigestive enzyme after I eat. That's another distinction. And I take my Vitalzyme all in the morning on an empty stomach with all my other enzymes. And that's the best I can do. So don't stress yourself out because you'll need more vitamins to deal with the stress damage. So that's what I would say there. Okay, so see you, doctor. And that's how I would take my thyroid, Cynthia. Patsy says, my 73-year-old husband has been on statin for 25 years. First Lipitor, then Crestor. 25 years ago, his cholesterol was around 300. 5 years ago, he started walking 4 to 5 days a week and lost 65 pounds. You tell him, God bless you. Okay, that's wonderful. I'm proud of him. Along with changes in his diet, 6 months ago, he went off the statins. And his lab work last week showed a cholesterol of 249. It's wonderful. I love cholesterol. Cholesterol is critically essential for the health of every cell in your body and your brain especially. It was 151 6 months ago. So she's making that statement. She's probably, Patsy, then you're probably saying, is this okay? If he were my patient, or then she goes on to say his HDL was 45, and LDL 179, and triglycerides were 135. Does the increase of a cholesterol of 249 suggest he should go back on the statins? His last BP was 118. He has never had a stroke or heart issue. His weight is good, and he continues to walk. Hey, it sounds like he's healthy and doing the right thing, and he lost 65 pounds. So why would we need a medicine here? So I want you to watch a YouTube called High Cholesterol is Healthy. And that's by Dr. Ken Berry, Berry, and Dr. David Diamond, Diamond, PhD. And they review all the most recent retrospective meta-analysis on cholesterol studies and prescription of statins. And they come up with a resounding summary statement that you don't need it, especially if you haven't had a heart attack or something like that. So the only thing I would criticize Patsy is his triglyceride levels at 135. The world's doctors, the common labs say it's normal to have a triglyceride under 150. We're more strict here. We demand that our triglycerides should equal the HDL. So if the HDL was 45, his triglycerides should come down to 45. And triglycerides come from carb, starch, fruit, any carbohydrate, any plant food. So there's room to reduce the amount of plants in his diet and increase the amount of meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, and eggs that he eats. So that would be the direction I would go. So find a good functional doctor. Watch that YouTube video called High Cholesterol is Healthy. and let us know what you think of on it the next time we're on here. Rhonda says, we'd like to visit relatives at Christmas, but our 6-year-old niece has MRSA, multiple resistant Staph aureus, and has had it ever since she was adopted from China as an infant. She seems to have an outbreak once a year. Should we skip our visit with them? Well, Rhonda, I don't know who you are or how healthy you are and what kind of contact you have with her, or where if she has any open lesions on her skin, or her eczema or runny nose. But if she's 6 years old, she should have some personal hygiene developed and not be a risk. But what I would take is Argentin. Argentin is that nanoparticulate silver, 23 parts per billion. It's a spray, okay? And so if you want, spray your face, spray your hands, and then take a little swig of it, swish and swallow. You can squirt it up your nose, protect yourself. You can give it to the child, and she can squirt her nose and take a little sip after she brushes her teeth before bed, swish and swallow. You can spray it on her hands, and make sure mom is giving her vitamin D, and maybe in the realm of 2,500 international units a day in a liquid dropper or a capsule form, but dropper is probably easier. And on zinc, a children's multi-mineral that has, at least 2.5 milligrams of zinc every day in it. Zinc, vitamin D, and Argentin, and a low-carb diet should solve her MRSA problem. So Rhonda, should you skip your visit, bring the Argentin with you, and bring your vitamin D and be taking it, and you be healthy. And if you're healthy, I don't see why you should worry about it. I'm 70 and I have people coming and seeing me all the time, and their children. I don't pre-screen saying, I won't see you if you've got MRSA. I won't see you if you've got herpes. I won't see you. God has designed us to be healthy and strong. So there you go. Debbie says, Dr. Rita, I was biting the skin around my nail bed, and I also filed it, and dirt must have gotten in there. Now it's all infected and sensitive. What is the best natural ointment to soak to heal this? Thank you kindly for all your help. Well, I can't see how bad it is. Some of these things are so bad they have to be incised and drained and put on oral antibiotics, because you don't want your tendons infected and stuff. But if it is really very much just limited right to the pericutical, rim of your finger, on the top part, just right at the rim there, and it's a little bit red in one tiny spot, I would have Argentin silver, and I would put that on it 5 times a day. Spray it or put a dropper on it. Get a Q-tip and wet it with Argentin silver. Roll it on there, and for goodness sakes, don't bite your nails. And if it isn't better doing that in 24 to 48 hours, then you have to have it seen by a doctor and make sure you don't need antibiotics. Raquel says, I know so many people who are still afraid to eat eggs. Let's see. And especially the yolks. Can you please explain why they are not the cholesterol bad guy and are so good for you? How can I explain it? They have been propagandized for the promotion of selling drugs to grow a pharmaceutical international crime syndicate. And they own the media advertising. Only 2 countries, the United States and Zealand, allow pharmaceuticals to propagandize and stimulate their patients to hear drug commercials. And then they go and they bring it up to their doctor and they sell more and more and more. And it's a marketing ploy. So if it was left to the physicians, it probably wouldn't have ever gotten that level. The same with the food industry and the international crime syndicate in food and the grains and the cereals and the starches and that attack on cholesterol was financed and promoted by them, and they suppressed the wonderful exonerating evidence about cholesterol. It was so ridiculous to even hypothesize that the science was bad. It was flawed. What was the name of the guy? K rations were named after him. Anyway, the guy who brought this up, I can't think of it. It'll come to me later. But he wrote the 7-nation study in 1961. And this study revealed just by epidemiology, and poorly done at that. And you don't make decisions based really just on epidemiology. And he cherry picked it because there were really 21 nations sampled. So he cherry picked it to say those nations that ate the most fat and animal products, saturated fat, have the heart disease. So he condemned cholesterol, and that brought on a government commission, and McGowan had it shoved down our throats on the TV in 1978. And he was sympathetic to the Seventh-day Adventist Church that was very much against eating so much animal products, and they were financing a lot of this pro-cereal, pro-grain, and healthy lifestyles that are more plant-based. So there's so much politics in it, and it's nauseating. And there is so much massive influence of that cereal corporations. Kellogg was a Seventh-day Adventist, and so there's this intertwining with a spiritual philosophy and diet, and now it's weaponized by government, thrown down to us, and in the form of edicts and cholesterol education, and then it's taught in all the medical schools, and you're almost laughed at if you even ask the question about it. So censorship is very real. So please watch the video, High Cholesterol is Healthy. And there are all kinds of studies on people eating eggs only for a whole month, which is very nutritious, and it really doesn't make a difference in their blood cholesterol. It actually makes their cardiovascular health better. You're constructed out of cholesterol. Don't tell me it's bad for you. Egg yolks have the phospholipids and cholesterol in it. We have to have it. We need tons of it in our brain and every cell membrane that we have. So it's absolutely wonderful. All right, Charlene says, with it being cold and flu season, what are the differences between a cold, flu, COVID, RSV? Thank you. Nothing. There's no difference. What you have to do is understand we're living in a world teeming with viruses and bacteria and fungi, and God gave us a tremendous immune system to identify, sort out, and react to these things. When we're dosed heavily, we might have congestion, a cough, achiness as our immune system kicks in, and we start making cytokines that make our temperature go up, and we get tired from it. God wants you to rest, lay down, depresses your appetite, so your whole body is focused on working on cleaning up your mucous membranes, your sinuses, and your throat. And so these are all very natural. So these various respiratory syncytial, the cold virus, adeno, rhinoviruses, there's many of them. COVID has never been cultured out of a single human being. It's a concocted genome sequence that is encoded and then screened for with an antibody on a alleged test for a virus that produces it. But I have never seen a single paper on anyone, not one soul, being cultured for a virus that was found positive for SARS-CoV-2. So go figure that. Try and figure that one out. These colds, flu, COVID, RSV, we don't worry about them. We haven't for thousands of years. What we do worry about is now everyone is so polluted and eating such a high carb, immune depressing diet and such high processed foods, and are not eating zinc rich foods that are in shellfish and fish and meat and cheese and eggs and things like this. Vitamin D rich sources, or exposure to healthy sun now with pollution blocking out some of the ultraviolet rays. So supplement with vitamin D, 5 to 10,000 international units is the range we aim for, and get yourself tested on the level. Get your liver enzymes tested to make sure that's a nice range for you. Take zinc in the form of a zinc supplement if you have any concerns. We have TLC multi-mineral. It'd be excellent to take. That's what I use. And then I use quercetin, which is the DHIST or the seasonal allergies supplements. So it acts like ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. They're all ionophores. Ionophores are molecules that help penetrate the cell membranes to allow zinc to pass into the cell, where it'll stop the RNA replication on the ribosomes of viral coding and production of virus. So get your D in there, get your zinc in there, be low carb, get enough vitamin A, take your Juice Plus or take a good multivitamin that's got vitamin A. By the way, this new alleged silly scare they have about the white lung in children. Mycoplasma has been around forever. We treat it with erythromycin, Z-Pak, or other things. And it usually is more susceptible in children because it's susceptible in people who are vitamin A deficient. So that's why Juice Plus is so valuable. It's rich in vitamin A, and that's why all the children's studies showed less sick days, less doctor visits, less medications used, less allergies, because the alveoli in your lung, that cell membrane has to have the vitamin A to have a good resiliency against breakage and breakdown. You have to eat enough protein and fat to repair the cell membrane, including cholesterol. So get your children on Juice Plus. You take it, and the child can get sponsored, I believe, for 4 years for free with one parent. So if you have 2 children, both parents can get on Juice Plus and get their children on it for free up all the way through high school. If they're in college, I think they can get on it still if they have a college working email, and then they can even have it free in college. Okay, and then Lisa says, what do you recommend for pregnant women to be taking, doing, avoiding for the best development and growth of the precious miracles in their wombs? What we have used for years and have had the most intelligent, best APGAR score babies, the least C-section babies, and the best birth weights are children who take our TLC Energy Core, moms who take our multivitamin mineral, and then they take vitamin D, and they take iodoral, the iodine, and Juice Plus. So Juice Plus, iodine, vitamin D, and TLC Energy Core, and we've had the absolute best babies born. So that's what we do. Sandra says, I'm wondering if you have specific suggestions regarding clear broth brands for use during colonoscopy prep. The chicken broth I've purchased at Trader Joe's doesn't seem clear. Well, no, it won't be clear. Yeah, so that's fine, Sandra. Also, any other clear liquids in addition to water? They suggest Jell-O, but as someone who follows your protocol, that's got a lot of sugar in it. No, I think the Trader Joe's chicken broth is probably fine. So chicken broth, will not be clear. It's fine, and not to worry about that, Sandra. All right, so let's go to some of these extra questions I think we had here come in. Jim says, hello, doctor. My history 10 years ago, MIA, missing in action? I don't know what you mean by MIA. 99%, a myocardial infarction? 99% blockage of the left anterior descending. Okay, one stent, now 59% stopped statins, now total 356. LDL is 260, triglycerides 141, HDL 67. Considering history, start statins again. You're the best. Yeah, there is some argument to be made that if you've had a heart attack, that there may be some value in statins. I would use the Crestor. That's the closest thing I would get to it. But really, you've got to be low carb. I would really consider doing some EDTA chelation therapy. Go on the internet and type in on YouTube for a YouTube video called TACT, TACT Update 2019, Dr. Dr. Lamas, Lamas. And there you'll see his 15-minute, he's the head of cardiology at Cedars-Sinai, and he was on the trial to assess chelation therapy with the NIH. The results were fantastic. Again, they suppressed it. Then just below him, a picture or two, you'll see Dorothy Merritt with ACAM. Dorothy Merritt and I teach chelation therapy to the world's doctors every year around March. We'll be doing it again. And so she has a wonderful summary of why that's so valuable. Be low carb, get on your enzymes, get a good functional doctor, Jim, and be followed up. Please do chelation. Dennis says, according to my family doctor, autism is a neurodegenerative disorder. Is that true? Well, it is neurodegenerative in the sense that if you damage the neurons and you don't do anything to stop the ongoing damage, or you further it, it will continue to degenerate. Of course, you must know there's a tremendous amount of information and data that is put out by the ICANN, Informed Consent Action Network, ICANN, ICAN, and the lawyer called Siri, SIRI, through ICANN, the Informed Consent Action Network, which works with Dell Bigtree on the Highwire, Dell Bigtree, the Highwire on rumble.com. ICANN is a legal consortium of many wonderful lawyers, and there actually are wonderful lawyers out there who are valiantly looking through the data, and they have won their case. I think they won something like 24 cases in the past 3 years, especially against the lawsuits trying to force certain vaccinations. And their main argument is asking for data to establish adequate studies ever having been performed on vaccine in children. And they can't produce these. They can't produce them. Can you believe that? Since 1982 or so, when they really started pushing for all these. Anyway, you have to understand that you have to work with a doctor who works with a tremendous amount of gut health repair for a child with autism, a very powerful antioxidant, research nutraceuticals to give them, an extremely low carb diet, finding out their blood type to help them digest, especially if they're blood type A children, water, absolutely no juice, no sugary junk food or sodas or juices, and no fruit, really. And working with that with vitamin D and methylated B complexes, we're seeing tremendous trends toward improvement. So, Dennis, that's a loaded question. And so hopefully that gave you some beginning points to start your search. Christina says, is there anything natural to relieve itchy skin? Yeah. In general, don't shower or swim or bathe. Just sponge bath and let your own skin start growing and your own oils start to soak through the layers of the dead keratin skin cells, and stay cool and dry. Don't let yourself get heated, and don't excessively work out and stress, and stay dry. Do sponge bathing. Eat a diet rich with clinician preference oils with the linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid, omega-3 and 6, the only two essentials a human needs. And then drink tons of water, half your weight in pounds as ounces every single day. And if that isn't starting to show some relief, be seen by your doctor. You might have some aggravating issues, gut and so forth, get your blood type, that kind of stuff. And that's where I would start. Let's see, Christina, where can we get Juice Plus? Christina, if you call the office here at 714-544-1521, you can ask for my nurse, Terry, T-E-R-I, my nurse, Terry. She'll help get you the answer and the information, and she can mail things to you and answer all your questions on that. And so we'd be happy to help you with that. Yeah, Jim says cardiac arrest. Yes. So Crestor probably would be the only one I use. Now, Jim, I would go on coenzyme Q10 if you go on a cholesterol lowering medication, 300 milligrams, one a day. Now, let's see. We have just 1 minute left. And I think I will end it at that and not try and stress myself anymore. And because I was stressed today with a new EMR. So again, if this is a help to you, please like and subscribe. Please share with your friends. Please live a healthier lifestyle and understand we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And there are usually ways to help your body and try and resist this pimping holiday marketing to get you to eat processed junk food, alcohol, whatever it is, to excess or at all, and try and enjoy the real reason for the season, family and friends, and not get stressed out. And with that, I'll see you next week. God bless and happy Merry Christmas. All right, bye-bye.